Hey everyone, Rarity Dash here. Time for another Patreon sponsored blind reaction. And this one comes to you courtesy of Dog Gamut, who has requested that I react to Best Friends Moments, Pat's super legit Dragon Ball fanfiction review, uploaded by James. So, yeah, more best friends stuff. The two best friends were super best friends. I think this is after there were more than two, though, so probably super best friends is more appropriate. Getting a lot of content from those guys, even though most of it is after their channel kind of ended. After they broke up, the main ones. Which is always kind of a sad thing, and I know it makes it kind of hard to watch this stuff for some of you who are like real big fans of it. But we got another video today. I think this is taken from some sort of podcast they did together. I think Dog said something about that when he made the request. I don't know, but apparently we're reviewing Dragon Ball fanfiction. Okay. I don't know, that seems like an interesting, could be an interesting thing. I don't know, this could be weird. So, let's get started and find out. Here we go.
Watch it.
It's thumbs up.
Oh. Thumbs up. I also
must watch.
The last thing I did my week, and I talked about it a little bit on Twitter last night, is I fell down the deepest, darkest I'm bored hole ever. And I just said,
gotta love those.
Fuck it.
I heard about this.
I'm just gonna start reading DBZ fanfiction. I'm gonna read tons of DBZ fanfiction.
And then you did. What was the catalyst?
I was bored.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's not enough. Something had to
really isn't
to the forefront of your attention.
I had seen like this particular thing like thrown at me on Twitter like twice, and said, "Fuck it, I'm not doing anything with my evening."
This reminds me of I think I might have told you about this. What happened like 3 months ago, where I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna watch a bunch of Final Fantasy Versus 13 AMVs.
Yeah.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many Versus 13 AMVs there are to numb?
A lot.
That use the same 20-minute pool of footage that existed before FF15.
Solid.
It is hilarious.
Probably
14,000 AMVs.
Probably the weirdest takeaway from this is that it is so good that I would actually recommend it to you guys.
Which one was it?
So
on one.
So it's a mashup of all let's crush down Dragon Ball, DBZ, and parts of GT into one timeline, and let's say that Goku was not the hero; it was Chi-Chi.
Oh,
but
that sounds kind of cool. Oh,
okay, like remember Kid Gohan, pre-post Raditz Gohan,
Piccolo Gohan.
Yeah, Piccolo Gohan. So Chi-Chi's dead. Okay, and Goku's like the same deadbeat Goku that he's always been. Right? And
we're doing fanfiction.
No, stop. I can't. Stop.
Yeah, let him explain.
I spent
let him explain the fanfic.
Thinking about this. I can get my fucking piece out.
Okay, get your piece out.
Okay, and it's Gohan in the fucking Saiyan saga, and he has to do the shit. And instead of Piccolo training him, it's Piccolo, Krillin, and Roshi. And Tien and Piccolo have been combined into one character, and it's post-Nail combination. Wait, was Nail the first one?
There's so much thought put into this.
Nail was on planet Namek.
Okay.
So
yeah.
And the show's pacing is really the fanfiction's pacing is really weird because you're like, this is the fucking Saiyan saga. Do the Saiyan stuff. But instead, it's all like weird, not great Saiyaman shit in the beginning with Videl, and like I don't.
You said Kid Gohan.
Yeah, and Kid Videl.
Okay.
Cause fuck it.
Cause
why not?
Cause fanfiction.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of like adult.
It's fanfiction. You can do anything.
Childlike romance. You're like, oh, that's cute. And it just goes on and on and on, and it's like they're fighting fucking Cybermen as monsters of the week instead of the same
one giant one.
It was about 68 parts.
It was really big.
Wow.
Okay, not multiple.
No, it was one giant one.
Okay, all right.
I got linked to this.
I guess that's a bit more excusable.
You get the Tien Piccolo character can see the future, and that seems really overpowered.
So hold on, is this Tien Piccolo character actually Tien and Piccolo?
Yeah, it's both. No, it's just both characters have just been combined into Piccolo.
Oh.
So they've just fused.
Okay, that's
Okay. Is there a brand new character that everyone loves? That's the coolest guy ever. That everyone just has to pay attention to when they're around.
No, it's literally just like Gohan, Piccolo / Tien, Krillin, and Roshi. The writing was really good.
Okay.
It was
Cool.
Really, it was weird because
Yeah, sometimes
you saw all the
fanfiction
sides
will
of these
surprise you
characters
with the writing.
In which, oh wow, Piccolo is actually really emotional and vulnerable, and then Krillin has
Piccolo Tien.
problems letting Chi-Chi go, but why would he?
I was going to the same place as Wooly, where I was worried that Robert, the lost Saiyan prince, would appear.
Totally original
exactly.
character. Do not steal.
To whom Vegeta would totally see.
And honestly, the first 5 hours of reading it, 2-3 hours of reading it was really bad. It was really rough, and I didn't like
that
it at all.
implies that this gets good.
The first
And-
hours are bad.
And then it starts.
Why
to
did you
pick
keep
up
going?
As they
I don't
start
like this.
to focus in more on just recreating the DBZ storyline with more stuff. So then once the Saiyans actually show up, it starts to really pick up, and you have Piccolo and Gohan versus
So from page
Vegeta.
1, sentence 1,
Yeah.
you just have to pretend that it's just a different world.
No, it's the same world.
But all these weird things where people are dead or alive and things are happening,
It's just mixed match.
you just have to pretend it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Is this written like My Immortal, where it's fucking garbage?
No, it's well written.
Gotta love My Immortal. Haven't thought about that in a while.
It ends.
Where's Mr. Satan?
Where's Mr. Satan? Mr. Satan's kind of Vidal's mom is actually here with Mr. Satan, and they're just lame parents. They're not heroes. They're just
There's so much thought put into this.
So
Well, that's
Goku
different.
just does nothing.
Goku's just a deadbeat. Imagine Goku's character with no powers. Imagine if Goku was Chi-Chi, right? Just hanging around, just being a shit, runs a car wash. And then they zoom in on the Saiyan saga, but now it's the Saiyan saga, but with fusions early. So imagine if instead of Goku and Piccolo fighting Raditz, it was Goku and Piccolo fused together fighting Raditz, and it keeps going and going. The biggest problem is that whenever this fan fiction,
SSJ 6 Brolings.
whenever this fan fiction tries to get off of recreating the DBZ story and go to its own little side stories, even though they can be sweet and now and then, it's no, go back to the story. Go back to the story.
Uh-huh.
I would call it like a anti-Bebop.
It sounds like you just want to watch Dragon Ball Z.
It sounds like you just want to watch Super.
Okay, so you know Cowboy Bebop. Most of the plot is not the plot.
Okay, Pat, this is not as good as Cowboy Bebop, is it?
Okay, no.
Okay.
No, it's not going to
Most
be.
of the thing is not the plot. It's hijinks.
Yeah.
But the plot's really good, but it's not even as good as the hijinks. And anti-Bebop would be most of the plot is hijinks, but the plot's what matters. This is what this fan fiction is. And probably
So Futurama.
Yeah, probably. And the biggest problem is that I want to know about the Saiyans, I want to know about Frieza, but because it's young Kid Gohan, whenever Kid Gohan asks for anything and says "Hey, what's the deal with Frieza?" the older characters just go "Nah, shut up, don't talk about it," and it drags on and on and on. It's just tell the kid about the Saiyans.
I can't understand if he wants us to take him seriously.
I can't
or not.
understand.
I can't read.
understand.
I can't read him right now.
I'm beginning to think he might be talking about something
I
else.
cannot surmount.
I don't know what to do.
And probably the most annoying thing about the whole thing is that Kid Gohan as a character is not nearly as strong, as a developed character in this fanfiction, as the rest of them. And that I dislike.
Are we really
his
talking about a
portrayal
Dragon Ball
as
fanfic
a
here?
6-year-old fat.
Been wondering since that.
star on his shirt.
Can you tell me what the
Okay, yeah.
was?
Rebecca.
Yeah. There we
The
go.
name
Are
of
you
the story.
wait, are you serious? Are you serious?
Ever since the car wash comment,
Fucking serious?
I was
What
thinking.
does that mean?
Probably great then.
What does that mean?
She did Steven Universe.
Oh,
Are you fucking serious? Is it actually Rebecca Sugar?
Yeah.
that's the creator of Steven Universe?
It's probably fantastic then.
It's probably pretty good.
Wait,
We're just talking about Steven Universe.
Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Is it just Steven Universe in sheep's clothing?
No, I'm talking about I watched all of Steven Universe.
oh my god.
I wanted to
Oh my
see.
God.
how long I could drag you guys down this path.
I got some of it with pickle with some of it.
So last night on Twitter was the test run to see how far I had to go.
Because when you said the piccolo thing, I was like, well, that's just Garnet.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you were saying some things, and I was like, yeah, but then I was like, no, I can't even.
I wanted to see.
At a certain point, I wasn't even listening to you.
So
was this relying on Liam catching on? Because there's obviously no way that I
was
would.
supposed to be.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. All right.
So everything that I just said is just Steven Universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That show's great.
Is it better than Adventure Time?
No.
Yes, it is. There
So
we go.
No.
Confirmed.
No, here's the thing.
No.
They both have the same thing going on, where the anti-bebop thing, where both of them... Wooly, you've watched most of Adventure Time, or not all of it, right?
Yeah.
The Adventure Time, when it goes for its continuity, it's the best.
Fantastic.
Like, it goes to the wildest fucking places.
It's fucking great.
Steven Universe is like that. When it goes to continuity is just a retelling of Dragon Ball with new animation and new characters.
I guess it kind of is. I never really thought
It's
about that.
fucking great.
It kind of...
But whereas Adventure Time is really strong and it's off in its quote-unquote filler episodes, I feel like most of the Steven Universe episodes that don't have to do with the emotions of the characters or their relationship states or any of that, when it's literally just hijinks, I think those episodes are terrible because Steven doesn't ask anything. So there are 50 episodes in which Steven is going, "What's the deal with the gems?" And they go, "Shut up, kid." And you go, "No, what? Fuck.
Yeah.
Just say it."
But there's no Mushroom Samba.
No.
There's some pretty weird ones.
Steven Universe's Mushroom Samba.
The fuck's a Mushroom Samba?
The totally separated episode that stands totally on its own.
It has nothing to do with anything.
I don't think there is.
I don't know if there...
Or Pierrot, or
There might
you
be.
know...
There might be, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I think that Steven is easily the weakest character in that entire show, and it's a bummer that
He
he's
gets
the main
better.
character because he's just too young. Remember when Finn was super young, but it was okay because it was Goofy Adventures?
Well, the first YouTube video of
Yeah.
them just sliding around,
I mean,
going
like season
crazy.
1, season 2 Finn,
Sure.
right? Where he's super young,
Yeah.
but it's all really goofball shit. Like, oh no, the mountain's crying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What if that never went away and they tried to do the continuity with that Finn?
With that version of Finn, again,
Like-
the Finn that doesn't wise up a little bit.
So the thing is, and
Mm-hmm.
I can see why. Like personally, I think Adventure Time edges it out, but the thing is fantastic and has the potential to be better than Adventure Time. And I think the reason why a lot of people think it's better than Adventure Time is that it got farther in less time. It got like it's.
I guess it does,
two
yes,
seasons.
yeah.
I find all the gems characters to be way more compelling as well.
Yeah, because it's a character-driven show.
I find them all.
There's
super
enough
compelling.
episodes of this thing out there that now it's found its stride, right?
Yes,
Yeah, for
And the stride in general is,
DBZ.
but entertaining on average.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The show's biggest problem is that like the first 5 episodes are shitty. They suck. Everything prior to Tiger Millionaire,
I don't think the first
everything
episodes are bad.
because Tiger Millionaire is great.
That is the first really good one.
Ultimate heel.
Everything before that is like,
Okay.
and then that happens, and you're like, that is a hijinks that was awesome.
Now, I saw someone linked me to an article that's like reasons why you should appreciate Steven Universe if you're not watching it type of thing. And it was a list of homages and things that how it's like this thing is full of send-ups to things that
Absolutely.
you like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, send-ups aside,
Yeah.
still...
Oh, there's tons.
Oh, no.
This is not Ready Player One.
No. They're subtle, and I didn't notice a lot of them.
They're very subtle
So
and
don't worry
tasteful.
about that. No, it's actually really good. It's more dedicated to its continuity than Adventure Time is,
Yeah.
and that's something that frustrates me about Adventure
Adventure
Time.
Time-
Because Adventure Time, you get 4 episodes a season in which they go to the multiverse.
Adventure Time takes like seasons to get to the plot, and then it kind of goes.
Adventure Time has 1 plot episode at the end, season finale of season 2,
Yeah.
which is the Lich, and then it's a full season before they get back to the Lich. And then in season 5, they have like 10 episodes that are continuity, and that's when you've built up the characters for like.
In Steven Universe,
I think you get more continuity later on, though, in
Yeah,
Adventure
so
Time.
Up to there,
It kinda builds.
Cartoon show hijinks, and then it plot starts.
So probably the best.
Well, it's sandwiched in between Teen Titans
That's a lot
Go.
more.
So probably
Sorry?
It's sandwiched in between Teen
I
Titans
guess
Go.
so. Yeah.
So the best
On TV,
example
yeah.
is that a lot of people didn't stick with Adventure Time to see it become its continuity based,
which is a shame
because it took like 5 years,
way too long.
Where I love the old
No,
show.
sure.
So like when I say that Wooly will get this, and people who've watched all of it, like Ice King is the most tragic figure ever. It defies belief.
Yeah.
But you had to know Ice King for years to get there. Whereas Steven Universe, you go by the end of season 1, like Garnet's the best. Garnet's the best. She's fucking awesome.
But then you're like, oh, they're all the best.
Yeah. I really
Amethyst.
probably my favorite thing is that I hated like Pearl. I hated Pearl.
Really? You
hated?
Okay.
Hated that neurotic, prissy fucking character in anything. I hate
Just
it.
like you.
Yeah, I know. But then you get farther in and you see that character is like horrible.
So here's
like broken, like fucked up, horrible.
She is busted.
And
totally.
then I like that character because the more busted your character is, the more I like them.
Here's that Eric Andre USB. I want you to put more things on it.
What? What? You mean the season package?
Put the fan fiction on. Put the fan fiction on the thing, and then
It's really good. It's really
really
good.
fantastic.
Yeah,
show.
right.
And to the people worried I was going to shit on your character, no, I'm not. They're all good in their own way, except for Steven.
Well, my next question to you was, how did you get past the art style? Because I know that you hate that.
I have never seen a show that its background art was so good and its character.
It does have some really
so
good
bad.
backgrounds.
It's not bad. It's a style.
I know
Whatever.
you hate that.
It's pretty bad in season 1. I mean,
Because when you get to second one of the title card is gorgeous.
Okay.
Like I'll fucking.
No, don't.
Well, I'm copying the shit.
Yes, but
The title card looks like of the fucking like a pastel version of the safe room in Transistor.
but you
like
weren't.
it looks amazing.
You weren't repulsed.
I was totally repulsed by the characters, and then I got over it, and then I learned to live with it, and now I'm like, yeah, okay, I like it well enough. The problem is that the coolest looking characters in the show are very rarely in the show because they are either fusions or villains that get kicked out after one episode.
Okay.
Like, there's a villain called Jasper who I think is really cool. Gone. Not dead, just
Well,
gone.
she comes back.
If you were into the Gendy stuff, then you could probably appreciate.
Don't even know what that is.
That's fucking Clone Wars, and that's Samurai Jack, and that's that art style.
I like that art style.
So Samurai Jack is on like the ultimate level, right? Right, like we're in agreement that Samurai Jack's at the top of the pile.
pretty great.
it was
right?
pretty good.
Like Samurai
It was.
Jack, and then reboots below it.
I think
Reboot, that's something I haven't thought about in a while.
Because I mean, if you want to talk Powerpuff and you want to talk Dexter's,
I wonder if that really holds up.
No, Samurai Jack
Might
is
seem-
like top
might
of
be
top
kinda
ultra
dated
tier,
these days.
Right? Steven Universe starts to scrape at its feet on some episodes. I feel.
I like on a basic level, it's like I hate Steven's design so fucking much.
Oh, I love Steven. I think it's great.
Like,
I think what he is great.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
The very first time I saw a single moment of that show, and I saw the character, it was a commercial. It was on for an Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And I went, Scott Pilgrim. What?
No.
I saw a kid with a star on his shirt.
Sure.
And it was called Steven Universe, and I was like, is that like a sort of Scott Pilgrim thing? What was happening there?
Yeah.
And then it seems like it's something completely different.
It's not.
But the first thought I had from seeing the design was that.
Scott Pilgrim is, hey, you like video games? Come read our video game book.
Hold on, do you like video games and obscure Toronto subculture for hipster dirtbags?
Yeah.
I do.
What's his, Brian Lee O'Malley is the Ernest Cline of comic books. That's where I stand on that.
Not as nowhere near as bad.
I don't know. He labels stuff in pictures.
Nowhere near
This
as bad.
is a morph ball from Metroid.
You know, it would, dude. It's not
I know,
heavy-handed.
Like there is an episode in which Steven occasionally changes how he looks due to various factors.
Occasionally.
Every single one of those, I would rather have the main character, especially the one with Connie.
You're going into like borderlines. Like you're saying too much.
Well, I've already seen moments where he fuses with his Indian girlfriend there. I forgot her name. I don't know, but I've seen that where they become one person.
That character,
and
character should be the fucking star of the show.
Yeah,
That would be different.
I've seen all kinds of like moments.
Not
here
this
and there.
fucking stupid child that doesn't know what's going on.
the whole point is that that's what he is. Like that whole
sucks.
And people have
Absolutely
more than enough
sucks.
gifts of the cool moments and stuff. So I feel like it's like, yeah, I'm gonna see these
From
things, but
probably the
not
most
that
shocking
spoiled.
thing is from the way people talked about it. I really expected there to be way more music.
Yeah, there's like 4
Yeah,
or 5
Because
songs,
people
yeah.
said like, oh, this is why the music dropped out of Adventure Time because all the music went to here. It's like there's like
There's like 5 or 6 songs.
there's like
It is
5 or 6
pretty
songs
occasional.
tops, and like Adventure Time has way more consistently. It's like if you're gonna like, and all those musical moments are great. Like do them more often.
Like the quote unquote rap fights or whatever.
That thing's great.
Yeah, it just wasn't rap, but it was just like
No,
yeah,
shut
okay.
up. It's hip hop.
It's R&B.
Did you
It's
watch
fine.
that?
I saw that. I saw
Fuck,
that.
man, you got spoiled
That's
on
the
everything.
climax of the first season.
I'm sorry.
No, it's so. Just why would you watch spoilers?
Because somebody said Wooly would like this because it's a rap fight. And I'm like, and I watched it and I was like, oh,
We're talking about the Garnet thing?
it's not really rap.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
not rap,
And
no.
they're like, what is this dumb shit?
I mean, I didn't say that. I was
No,
like,
I
that
hear
was
ya.
cool, but this is R&B.
Oh, people don't send spoilers to people.
You
Why
mean
would
rap
do
and
that?
battle?
Yeah.
R&B.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Rap
what it
and
stands
battle.
for.
That's what it stands for.
I don't know. I think it's important that Steven is the way Steven is in the show, or it just doesn't work. Like,
Throw
if
3
you-
years on him.
if you put a character in the show who knew what was going on
No,
in
he does-
Steven's place,
he
like,
does-
it wouldn't
Wasn't there an
float.
episode where he is older for a bit?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a played for gags.
I saw
No,
that.
no,
It's
it's like-
gags, yeah.
I don't mean like age him to be an adult, and I don't mean to have the character know everything because then the audience can't figure out.
Yeah.
Make the character slightly older so that when they're in a fucking like space graveyard with corpses everywhere, and he goes, "Hey, what's up with that?" And they go, "Shut up, kid," and then the episode ends and you learn nothing.
Yeah,
It's
my
because you're not supposed to realize it yet.
But I know what it is.
Yeah, but that's because you got spoiled on shit.
No, it's not because I can see.
Here's the biggest problem with me starting this, is that opinions are already stacked.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah. Well, you'll
gonna
like
be,
it. You'll
it's
like
gonna
it.
be impossible to
It-
form
Willie,
that
I'm a
like,
stick in the mud.
void.
I'm a
opinion.
stick in the mud, stubborn asshole, and I hate Steven. And I came in being pissed off. Like when I started watching episode 1, I'm like, see, this is better than Adventure Time. And I came away from it thinking it's great. So don't worry too much about that.
It's hard to not like.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's just based on the character design that they're going for something different because everybody doesn't look super cool.
Character designs are great.
You know, like everyone looks a little bit like different or
Yeah.
odd in some ways. Pudgy main character, pudgy girl, kind of thin weird girl with the hair in the back, and then like it's already going for not
they're all over the
normal
place. Yeah.
super bishy cast. So you know that's already different.
No, it really.
It's a good show. You should watch.
It really breaks a lot of like
Tropes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many it does.
And then that you get credit for breaking tropes.
It does them
at all
well. It
because
does them well,
yeah,
too.
I really don't like tropes.
yeah.
Rebecca Sugar did a good
Unless
job.
they're great tropes.
Unless they're the ones you like.
Unless they're the tropes I like. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tropes that are like,
And Liam, I'm coming.
Blue Oni, red Oni, that can stay.
Yeah.
I'm coming off too strong with the Steven stuff. I'm just frustrated because the plot is the best part of that show, and Steven's ignorance actively stops more plot from happening.
I don't think it's Steven's ignorance, really. Like,
Well, okay.
it's more the fact that they have to ship a show for kids.
Well, it's like
and so every other episode has to be a hijinks episode.
in the Mirror episode, 90% of that episode is hijinks, and then 2 minutes of plot at the end. Because Steven's an idiot and doesn't know what's going on, and because no one will tell him what's going on, and then the episode ends when instead it's like, no, that's the coolest character in the show.
Yeah, but you
Wait,
just got a lot of
So
plot.
that's nowhere near as bad as Boruto, but that's exactly what that's the first thing
Really?
that made me hate everything about Naruto.
Oh, I thought you meant Boruto because you were reading it.
No, I mean Naruto.
Yeah.
Like the first thing that like even when I was still invested was the fact that the main character is just like I don't get it, and literally everyone else does, and like you the viewer does, but the story still progresses at the speed of his thought.
Okay.
So you have laggy, dumb moments where you're like, "We already know this. Don't treat it like a big
this
deal."
is not more like dumping on that in Steven Universe, but it is explaining one thing. A lot of people have asked me over and over and over and over, why do I hate the third Evangelion movie so much? And it's because of this. It's because it's this replicated on Shinji for a whole movie in which everyone knows what's going on except for the character that you're following.
I can't handle.
You haven't seen the
I have no
Evangelion
patience.
movies.
Go faster.
It's not nearly
Just the
as
series.
hard as
No,
Steven or
It
anything.
can't be like, because those are the worst examples
Yeah.
in the world.
Exactly.
He just
Well, and
listed
the
two
end of Evangelion.
worst examples in the world.
Yeah.
It can't be worse.
No, of course not.
Fucking
Yeah.
90-minute movie in which you learn
But
nothing.
Dude, that movie
You know.
sucks.
I can't.
The animation's amazing. That
Yeah.
movie sucks.
Which is why when a character is ahead of the curve, it's beyond satisfying. It's like, oh, give it to me more.
The entire cast except for Steven is ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you get glimpses of that, you're like, damn.
You know what you would like?
Damn.
You know what you would like? Sword Art Online.
Okay, whatever.
Because Kirito is ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Because he got in early.
That's the big plot
That's the
point
joy of being
of the first season, that he's so ahead of the curve that he solves the plot early.
But like that, it was like that. That's what
he already knows what he has to do from minute one.
Things that I enjoyed about when I was reading Death Note, things that I enjoyed when I was reading Full Metal Alchemist, were that, you know, like those characters are like, yeah, they're your main characters, but they're not just fucking, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's
you
not.
know
I don't feel like that describes.
Well, it's an audience thing where it's like, I want the character to realize things faster than me, so that I can enjoy it instead of the reveal happening and the kid goes, "Oh yeah, it's a reveal," and I go, "No shit, idiot."
You think he's going to be one of those characters, and then he's not, and it's really satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but that's a sports anime thing as well. Where it's just like, I don't know anything about this sport. Teach me everything. You know, but we'll see.
It's a good show.
We'll see. But opinions are loaded, so
you won't not like it.
That's not what I'm worried about.
No, exactly.
I'm just. It's, you know, it's any time something is like. The external peer pressure, as it were, and not.
Hey, all I ever said was go watch it.
I'm talking about the internet peer pressure.
Oh, it's strong.
So fucking heavy.
Yeah, especially at that moment in time.
The last thing I want to say about it,
and that's about when I was getting into it too.
Adventure Time are now shown. Now that I know, are fucking absurd. These are not even in the same genre, like not even close.
Like they're different shows.
They are pretty
Time
different.
is
Yeah.
Fucking like magical, like fucking Tintin, and this is Dragon Ball.
Okay.
It's the most overt Dragon Ball thing I have ever seen.
I mean, if like people coming to planet, if
Vegeta and Nappa show up on our
I don't know if it's quite that.
Dragon Ball is something else. You know, if aliens come to Earth, it equates to
equals Saiyans, basically.
Like, okay, here's how much. I'm not going to say what it is.
Sure.
Here's how Dragon Ball it is. A plot point happens, and I go, wait a second. If that character's so-and-so, and that's character so-and-so, then this is going to happen. And I called that 30 episodes before it happened. And then it happened exactly how I thought it was going to happen, because it was just...
Okay.
And that's not a problem. That's awesome.
Okay.
I like Dragon Ball. I haven't been watching Super. Is it good? I don't know.
I guess we don't get to know if he thinks Super is good. Well, there we go. Interesting. Yeah, that was a nice little chunk of their podcast, I guess. And it was interesting. I did catch on to that a little bit early. I'm glad I did. I mean, not that early, but the second they were talking about Goku in the comparison, which obviously would be Greg, and they said he owned a car wash. I just was like, wait a second, and then I didn't say anything for a while, and then it just kept going, and the parallels just kept getting a bit more, and then right about as I was going to, they pulled it back, and yes, sure enough, Steven Universe. But that's interesting. I mean, obviously it shares similar things, like, of course, fusions. That's something that Dragon Ball did. And yeah, we have the aliens from the homeworld coming down and all that. I guess in that comparison, Peridot is our Vegeta. Maybe. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it works for like the first couple seasons, but I don't know if it really does after that point. Like, I don't know if it's quite all that Dragon Ball after that point. Yeah, probably because kind of, but then also kind of not. But yeah, Steven being Gohan and Garnet being Tien and Piccolo put together. And I guess in the other comparison is Amethyst Master Roshi and Pearl Krillin. I mean, I don't quite see that, but I guess it's not quite. I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting. Nice little. Yeah, this was kind of fun. I enjoyed listening to it. Just hearing someone get a bit enthusiastic about Steven Universe and other things as well, Adventure Time, make these comparisons. It's interesting conversation. Yeah, definitely pretty cool stuff. Just a lot of interesting opinions, because this was obviously recorded after season 2, so that was a very strong point for the show. That was probably the peak of it, was season 2. Well, season 3 was pretty excellent too. I guess season 2 and 3, both of those just really probably my favorite 2 seasons. The back half of season 1 is also really good. Then it does honestly kind of coast a little bit, even though, I mean, there are moments of brilliance throughout season 4 and season 5, but it definitely does kind of stop being quite as hype as it was. Though part of that is also just that the broadcast schedule got ridiculous and just so stupid and spread out that it's hard to get all that hyped over it. But yeah, this was definitely the time to get into Steven Universe. And it's also interesting hearing the Adventure Time comparisons, especially as someone who came to that show after Steven Universe. And yeah, they are very different shows, and it's good to see that acknowledged. I know they are often compared, but yeah, definitely different feels for both. And personally, I do prefer Adventure Time, but Steven Universe is pretty great too, and I'm glad I watched both of them. And yeah, Steven, especially early on, was pretty frustrating. Gotta agree with that. Though I think he does get better. That's one thing that the later seasons get right, is that Steven definitely grows up as a character, and it's definitely satisfying to see that. I also would say that, I mean, I don't know, not everything, but a lot of the side stuff, a lot of the filler, so to speak, does, I think, get a little bit more interesting. Though, I guess that's open to, that's subject to just whatever your opinion on that. Yeah. But good stuff. That was interesting. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. Let me know if you did, and see you in the next one.